the policy and the strategy of Germany and the United States really show that starting from their goals, their intention was not to bring peace back. Their intention was to destroy Yugoslavia, to make the Serbians as weak as possible, and so if a war was necessary for that.
To nisu dobri ljudi, kazala mi mama kad su tenkovi prolazili. Bio sam 3 tada, ali nikad neću zaboraviti. To je bila zadnja noć kad bi bio u mojoj zemlji. One of my first memories was when I was about 3. My mother and I, we were in a bus, and we're driving past this military convoy. And I was in her lap, and I look over, and I happened to ask her, who that is. And she just goes, "Shh, to nisu dobri ljudi." And at 3 years old, you already know, that means trouble, especially if your country has been through a few wars in the past, and you hear about it often. So, kind of then knew, even at that age, that things might get bad. Of course, the Bosnian people weren't just gonna take it. One of them was just like the constant chant of Datania Alia, basically declared independence from Serbia and Yugoslavia. It really was neighbor against neighbor all of a sudden. We had a Serbian neighbor, and as soon as the war started, he was out in his front yard one day sharpening his axe, and my mom was like, "What are you doing there, And he goes, "Oh, I'm just getting ready for when the war starts." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "I'm gonna catch myself some Muslims." And of course, he knew we were Muslims. So, what I do remember, seeing though, is isolated violence. People would get punched, and there would be a lot of random stops and searches. One guy had his throat slit, just slit, and I guess they proceeded to cut his head off in the middle of the street because he was drunk apparently, and he attacked one of the soldiers and took his gun, I guess shot him, but as a punishment he was killed right on the spot in the streets in front of everyone. Of course, the patriotic feelings towards, for the Serbs, are them just walking around holding up 3 fingers in the air like they always do, which I never actually knew what it signified, the Bosnian Freedom Army. When they would capture Serbs, they would actually cut off their thumb so they couldn't hold up 3 fingers like they used to. And it was like cruelty on part of the people that were trying to gain independence, but it was like a big slap in the face to them. Things were not safe though. My father was involved politically in some of Bosnia's fight for independence, and he feared that he would be targeted by Serbs. The important part is for us to remember what happened in Bosnia and remember what happened to the people. I'm just one example, but don't forget the cause, don't forget the horror, and don't forget that things like this should never happen again. My name is Samir Muratovic, I'm 17 years old, and I'm a refugee from Bosnia.